The gleaming crystalline halls of the Galactic Council stretched toward the artificial sky, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 suns. Inside the Grand Chamber, 12 different alien species sat in elevated pods, each designed to accommodate their unique physiologies. High Counselor Rix, with his silvery scales and 4 pairs of eyes, stood at the central podium. The recording played before them showed a crude human vessel breaking free from Earth's atmosphere. The ship's engines flared blue against the darkness of space as it accelerated past their lunar outpost. The council members watched with varying degrees of disdain. "These humans," Rick spoke, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into the standard galactic language, "have achieved their first true interstellar flight capability." He paused, studying the reactions around him. They managed this feat in merely 2 centuries after discovering powered flight. Ambassador Teal, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with dismissive colors. 2 centuries. We achieved the same in less than 50 years. Their progress is unremarkable. The council chamber filled with murmurs of agreement. Representative Mox, a creature with multiple tentacles and bioluminescent patches, waved one of his appendages. "Their ship design is inefficient. Look at those thermal emissions. They're wasting at least 40% of their fuel." Rix played more footage. This time, it showed humans celebrating their achievement. Crowds gathered in cities across Earth, their faces turned skyward. Scientists and engineers hugged each other in control rooms. Children waved flags and drew pictures of stars. They seemed quite pleased with themselves, noted Ambassador Krill, her feathers ruffling in amusement. "Perhaps we should remind them of their place in the galaxy." The High Counselor's scales shifted color slightly. "They have also developed some interesting defensive technologies. Our long-range scans detected unusual energy signatures around their military installations." This caught the attention of General Vex, who represented the Council's United Defense Force. His armored exoskeleton clicked as he leaned forward. "Unusual how? Our sensors cannot fully penetrate their shields," Rix admitted. "They appear to be using some form of quantum field manipulation we haven't encountered before." This revelation caused a stir in the chamber. Quantum manipulation was considered a higher-tier technology, one that most species didn't develop until well after achieving interstellar travel. Ambassador Teal's crystal housing vibrated with concern. "Impossible. They must have stolen the technology from someone else. We should investigate this immediately." "I agree," said General Vex. "We cannot allow an unproven species to possess such capabilities without oversight. They could become a threat." Rix raised all 4 of his hands for silence. "The Council has always followed certain protocols when dealing with emerging spacefaring civilizations. We send a diplomatic fleet to welcome them into the galactic community." "And if they refuse our generous offer?" Krill asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer. "Then we demonstrate why cooperation is in their best interest," Rix replied smoothly. "Our diplomatic fleet carries sufficient firepower to make our point clear." The council members nodded in approval. It was a time-tested approach. Show the new species that resistance was futile, then offer them protection and guidance in exchange for resources and obedience. Some called it exploitation, but the council preferred to think of it as maintaining galactic order. General Vex pulled up a holographic display of Earth's solar system. "I recommend we send the 7th Fleet. 7 ships should be more than enough to handle their defenses, and it sends a clear message about our superiority. 7 ships against 1 primitive world." Mox's bioluminescence flickered with mirth. "Isn't that overkill?" "Better to overwhelm them quickly," Vex argued. "These humans have shown remarkable adaptability in their short history. We shouldn't underestimate them." Rix considered this. "Agreed. The 7th Fleet will depart immediately. They will offer Earth membership in the Council, as a protected species, of course, and demonstrate our power if they resist." The Council voted unanimously to approve the mission. As the members filed out of the chamber, none of them noticed the small human observation drone that had recorded their entire session. None of them realized that humanity had already broken their supposedly unbreakable security protocols. And none of them knew that Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades. The humans had learned long ago that they weren't alone in the universe, and they had used that knowledge to develop technologies that would surprise their would-be conquerors. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, engineers and scientists were putting the finishing touches on humanity's first true warship. It looked primitive on the outside, exactly what the Council would expect. But inside, it contained innovations that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The Council's diplomatic fleet would soon discover that humanity had no intention of becoming anyone's protected species. They were about to learn why humans had a saying: appearances can be deceiving. High Counselor Rix made his final notes on the meeting and smiled to himself, confident in the Council's decision. In his long life, he had overseen the integration of many new species into the galactic community. Humans would be no different. He was wrong. The bridge of the HMS Prometheus hummed with quiet energy as Captain Jaiho Parks stood at his command station. The warship's interior was deceptively simple, clean lines, and minimalist design that hid the most advanced technology humanity had ever created. Holographic displays flickered with data streams, while crew members worked efficiently at their stations. First Officer Lena kept her eyes on the main view screen, where 7 alien vessels approached in perfect formation. They were beautiful ships, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent sheen that seemed to shift colors in the starlight. But beneath that beauty lurked weapons that had subjugated countless civilizations. "They're maintaining their approach vector, Captain," Lena reported, her fingers dancing over the holographic controls. "Their weapon systems are powered but not locked on us yet. They seem curious." Jaiho allowed himself a small smile. The Prometheus was designed to look underwhelming from the outside, a deliberate choice to make their potential enemies underestimate them. "Let them be curious." "Status of our systems." "All systems nominal," responded the ship's eye, its voice calm and clear. "Quantum shields are ready but inactive. Gravity manipulators are primed. Power reserves at maximum capacity." The alien fleet drew closer, and Jaiho could now make out the intricate details of their flagship. It was easily 3 times the size of the Prometheus, its hull decorated with symbols that probably denoted its impressive history of victories. The other 6 ships arranged themselves in a hexagonal pattern around it. A communication request flashed on the main screen. Jaiho nodded to Lena, who accepted the transmission. The alien commander appeared before them, a tall, reptilian being with multiple eyes and silvery scales. "Greetings, humans," the alien spoke, its words translated smoothly. "I am Fleet Commander Dax of the Galactic Council. We come with an offer of friendship and protection." Jaiho noticed the slight emphasis on protection and kept his expression neutral. "This is Captain Jaiho Park of the Earth ship Prometheus. We welcome peaceful contact with the Galactic Council." The alien commander's scales shifted color slightly. "We are surprised you sent only 1 vessel to greet us. It shows either great confidence or foolishness." "Perhaps both," Jaiho replied with a slight smile. "We humans often find those qualities go hand in hand." The bridge crew maintained their professional demeanor, but Jaiho could sense their tension. They had trained for this moment, but facing 7 advanced alien warships was still intimidating. Yet they trusted their captain and their ship. Commander Dax's expression changed subtly. "We bring an invitation to join the Galactic Council as a protected species. Your civilization will benefit from our guidance and defense." "And if we prefer to join as equals?" Jaiho asked, knowing the answer but wanting it stated clearly. The alien commander's scales darkened. "Your species is too young, too undeveloped for equal status. Accept our protection, or we will be forced to demonstrate why it is needed." Lena's console beeped softly. "Captain, they're charging weapons and raising shields," she whispered. Jaiho straightened his uniform. "Commander Dax, humanity respectfully declines to be protected. We would welcome peaceful relations as equals, but we will not be subjugated. "Then you leave us no choice," Dax replied. "This is unfortunate, but necessary. Your primitive vessel cannot hope to withstand our superior technology." The transmission ended, and the alien ships began moving into attack formation. Jiho watched them calmly, noting how they positioned themselves to maximize their firing angles while maintaining overlapping shield coverage. It was a well-practiced maneuver. "They're very confident," Lina observed, her hands hovering over her controls. "Yes," Jiho agreed. "That will make this more interesting. All stations, battle protocols are now in effect. Let's show them what one human vessel can do." The crew responded with quiet efficiency. No cheering, no dramatic declarations, just the smooth precision that came from countless hours of training. They knew their ship, they knew their capabilities, and they knew their captain. The Prometheus hung seemingly motionless against the backdrop of stars, a solitary vessel facing 7 alien warships. To the aliens, it must have looked like madness or desperation. They couldn't see the quantum fields building up within the ship's hull, or the gravity manipulators spinning up to full power. "They're launching their first warning shot," Lina announced. "High-energy plasma burst, aimed to pass close to our port side." Jiho nodded. "Let it hit us." The bridge crew trusted their captain enough not to question the order. The plasma burst streaked toward them, its brilliant blue energy lighting up space. Instead of passing near them as intended, it struck the Prometheus directly and simply vanished. On the alien flagship's bridge, Commander Dax stared at his sensors in confusion. The human ship hadn't even activated its shields, yet the plasma burst had disappeared without trace. It was impossible. "Now," Jiho said quietly, "let's return the greeting." He looked at his first officer. "Lina, show them what humanity can do." The Prometheus's external appearance began to change, its seemingly primitive hull transforming as layers of advanced technology activated. The real battle was about to begin, and the Galactic Council was about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating humanity. The alien commander's voice crackled through the bridge speakers again, filled with both arrogance and growing frustration. "Surrender now, humans. Your defiance, while admirable, is pointless. We have disabled civilizations far more advanced than yours." Captain Jiho Park sat comfortably in his command chair, a slight smile playing on his lips. Around him, the bridge crew of the Prometheus worked with quiet efficiency, each member focused on their tasks. First Officer Lina's fingers moved across her control panel, activating their quantum shield system. "Quantum shields at full power," Captain, Lina reported. "They're trying to scan us, but the shields are scrambling their sensors." The alien fleet had spread out in an attack formation, their weapons charged and ready. Their sleek vessels gleamed in the starlight, a display of technological superiority meant to intimidate. But the Prometheus held its position, seemingly unconcerned by the overwhelming force arrayed against it. "Their tactical position is textbook," the ship's AI commented. "They expect us to either flee or surrender. Their sensors are increasing in power, attempting to penetrate our defenses." Jiho nodded, watching the alien ships on the main view screen. "Let them try." "Officer Lina, open a channel." The communication system activated, and Jiho spoke clearly and calmly. "Perhaps you should reconsider your approach, Commander Dax. We have no wish for conflict, but we will not submit to threats." The alien commander's response was immediate and harsh. "You dare to challenge us? Your primitive vessel cannot hope to match our capabilities. We have conquered worlds that would make your Earth seem like a primitive backwater. And yet," Jiho replied smoothly, "you cannot scan our ship. Interesting, isn't it?" There was a moment of silence from the alien fleet. When Dax spoke again, there was a note of uncertainty in his voice. "What trickery is this? Our sensors detect nothing. No power signatures, no shield harmonics, nothing." The quantum shields were humanity's greatest technological achievement. They didn't just block scans, they created a bubble of quantum uncertainty around the ship. To enemy sensors, the Prometheus might as well have been a ghost. "Captain," Lena reported, "they're repositioning their ships. Energy readings suggest they're preparing to fire." Jaiho straightened in his chair. "Very well. Let's give them something to think about. Tactical, prepare a kinetic demonstration. Target the space between their ships. I want to show them what we can do without actually damaging their vessels." The weapons officer nodded, entering commands into his console. The Prometheus's main weapons system was unlike anything the aliens had encountered. A gravity manipulation device that could create localized distortions in space-time itself. "Your final warning, humans," Dax transmitted. "Surrender, or we will open fire." Jaiho leaned forward slightly. Tactical, execute demonstration. A pulse of invisible energy erupted from the Prometheus, traveling faster than the alien ships could react. It passed between their vessels and then detonated, creating a sphere of distorted space. The alien ships suddenly found their precise formation disrupted as local gravity went haywire. "By the Council." Dax's voice held genuine shock now. "What kind of weapon is this?" "That was a warning shot, Commander," Jaiho responded calmly. "A demonstration of one of our capabilities. We have many others. Again, I suggest you reconsider your approach." On the alien flagship's bridge, Commander Dax stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His ship's sensors couldn't even detect what had hit them. Their formation, perfected over centuries of warfare, had been scattered like leaves in a wind they couldn't see or understand. The Prometheus hung motionless in space, its quantum shields making it appear almost ethereal. The alien fleet's weapons remained charged, but they didn't fire. For the first time in their long history of diplomatic missions, they faced an uncertainty that bordered on fear. "Your ship should not be capable of this," Dax said finally. "This technology. It's impossible for your species to have developed it so quickly." "Impossible." Jaiho allowed himself another small smile. "Commander, you'll find that humans have a peculiar relationship with the word impossible. We tend to view it as a challenge rather than a limitation." Lena's console beeped softly. "Captain, they're powering down their primary weapons. They're maintaining shield power but seem to be adopting a more defensive posture." The alien commander's voice had lost its arrogant edge when he spoke again. Perhaps we should discuss this situation further, Captain Park. Your species has clearly developed technologies we did not anticipate." "A wise decision," Jaiho replied. "We welcome peaceful dialogue, Commander, but it must be as equals, not as subordinates." The bridge crew maintained their professional demeanor, but there was a sense of pride in the air. They had faced down 7 alien warships without firing a shot in anger. The quantum shields continued their work, keeping the Prometheus wrapped in its cloak of uncertainty, while the alien fleet tried to make sense of what they had just witnessed. It was clear that this encounter would not end the way the Galactic Council had planned. Humanity had just announced its presence on the galactic stage, not with violence or submission, but with a demonstration of technological sophistication that challenged everything the Council thought they knew about developing civilizations. The real negotiations were about to begin, and humanity was holding cards the aliens didn't even know existed. Commander Dax stood on his bridge, his scales shifting to a deep purple of rage and disbelief as he watched another volley of plasma torpedoes dissolve into nothingness against the human ship's defenses. "Impossible," he roared, his translator barely keeping up with his agitated clicks and whistles. "Fire again. Maximum power." Aboard the Prometheus, First Officer Lena's hands moved with practiced precision across her holographic controls. The ship's eye anticipated each incoming attack, adjusting their quantum shields microseconds before impact. Captain Jaiho Park watched calmly as brilliant flashes of alien weapons fire disappeared into the quantum field surrounding their vessel. "Their weapons are becoming more erratic," Lena noted, her eyes scanning the tactical display. "They're trying to find a weakness in our defensive pattern." The alien fleet had abandoned their formal battle formation, now circling the Prometheus like predators testing their prey. Each ship fired from different angles, using varying weapon configurations. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and even concentrated particle streams all vanished harmlessly against the quantum shields. Status of power reserves, Jai-Ho asked, his voice steady despite the light shows surrounding their ship. The AI responded promptly, power levels at 97%. The quantum shields are actually collecting energy from their attacks, Captain. We could maintain this defense for approximately 72 hours at current consumption rates. Another barrage of alien weapons fire lit up space around them. On the alien flagship, Commander Dax's crew worked frantically to understand what they were facing. Their most sophisticated sensors couldn't penetrate the human vessel's defenses, and their weapons seemed to have no effect whatsoever. Send the scan results to the Council, Dax ordered. This technology cannot exist. They must have help from someone. The Arcturians, perhaps, or the Quantum Collective. Lena's console displayed a new alert. Captain, they're attempting to hack our computer systems. Rather primitive approach. They're using standard Council encryption protocols. Jai-Ho nodded. Let the AI handle it. Show them another facet of human ingenuity. The Prometheus's artificial intelligence engaged its cyber defense protocols. As the alien code attempted to penetrate their systems, it encountered something unprecedented. Adaptive quantum algorithms that didn't just block the intrusion but learned from it. On the alien ships, computer systems suddenly began displaying strange symbols. Their own defensive software was being rewritten in real time, turned back against them by an AI that operated on principles they couldn't comprehend. Shut down all computer links, Dax commanded, watching in horror as system after system went dark. How are they doing this? Their species only achieved spaceflight recently. Back on the Prometheus, Lena allowed herself a small smile. Their computer systems are withdrawing. The AI's counter-intrusion protocols were quite effective. Incoming transmission from the flagship, announced the communications officer. Jai-Ho straightened in his chair. On screen, Commander Dax's image appeared, his scales now a mottled pattern of confusion and fear. What are you? He demanded. No developing species could have this level of technology. You must tell us who is helping you. No one is helping us, Commander, Jai-Ho replied calmly. This is purely human ingenuity. We observed, we learned, and we innovated. It's what humans do best. That's not possible. The quantum field technology alone should take centuries to develop. Unless, Jai-Ho suggested, you approach the problem from a completely different angle. Humans have a unique way of looking at challenges. We don't follow established paths. We create new ones. The alien commander's scales shifted again. The Council will not accept this. They will send more ships, more powerful weapons. They could, Jai-Ho agreed, but I suggest they review the sensor data from this encounter first. We haven't even fired back yet, Commander. Consider what that means. The implications hung in space between the ships. The Prometheus had withstood everything they could throw at it without retaliating. What other capabilities did it possess? What other innovations had humans developed that defied conventional galactic wisdom? Lena's fingers continued their dance across her console, monitoring all ship systems. The quantum shields hummed silently, their energy matrix growing stronger with each absorbed attack. The AI maintained its vigilance, learning and adapting to every new alien tactic. Your weapons are ineffective, Jai-Ho continued. Your computer systems are vulnerable to our AI. Your sensors cannot penetrate our defenses. And yet we have not fired a single shot. Ask yourself, Commander, what does that tell you about humanity's true capabilities? The alien fleet had stopped firing, their ships maintaining a respectful distance now. They had come expecting to find a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, they had encountered something they couldn't understand or overcome. Commander Dax's reply was quiet, almost subdued. It tells me, Captain Park, that the Council has made a severe miscalculation. I will report this encounter to my superiors. But I suspect this is only the beginning of a much larger conversation. Indeed, Jai-Ho agreed. We look forward to that conversation. As equals. The transmission ended, and the bridge crew of the Prometheus continued their work with quiet efficiency. They had just changed the balance of power in the galaxy, not through violence or intimidation, but through the simple demonstration of human potential. The alien fleet began to withdraw, their formation ragged and uncertain. They had come to teach humanity a lesson about galactic power. Instead, they had learned one about human ingenuity. The tension on the Prometheus's bridge peaked as Commander Dax's flagship launched a final desperate attack. Energy beams lanced out from all 7 alien vessels simultaneously, a coordinated strike meant to overwhelm any defense system. Captain Jai-Ho Park watched the incoming barrage with calm determination. Now would be a good time to demonstrate our offensive capabilities. Officer Lena, prepare the gravity web. Lena's fingers moved across her console with practiced precision. Gravity web charged and ready, Captain. Targeting solutions locked on their primary vessels. The alien weapons fire splashed harmlessly against their quantum shields, creating a spectacular light show in space. But this time, Jai-Ho had no intention of remaining purely defensive. Activate the gravity web, he ordered quietly. Lena pressed the activation sequence. The space around 3 of the alien ships, including Dax's flagship, suddenly warped and twisted. The Prometheus's most powerful weapon didn't fire energy beams or missiles. It manipulated the fabric of space-time itself. The effect was immediate and devastating. The 3 caught vessels froze in space, their engines straining against the localized gravity field that held them immobile. Their weapons powered down as the artificial gravity well disrupted their energy systems. Impossible. Dax's panicked transmission cut through the command channel. Our engines are at full power, but we cannot move. The remaining 4 alien ships broke formation, attempting to retreat to a safe distance. But the Prometheus was already moving, its quantum drive allowing it to practically ignore normal laws of physics. Target the nearest retreating vessel, Jai-Ho commanded. Minimal power on a gravity pulse. We don't want to damage them. Just demonstrate our reach. The human warship seemed to blur as it accelerated, appearing almost instantly beside one of the fleeing alien vessels. Another pulse from the gravity web caught the ship, gentle enough to avoid damage, but strong enough to completely halt its retreat. Warning shots across their bow, Jai-Ho ordered. Let's show them our conventional weapons still pack a punch. The Prometheus's point defense system came alive, firing precisely calculated bursts of plasma that streaked past the noses of the remaining alien ships. Each shot was a masterpiece of accuracy, close enough to demonstrate their targeting capability without risking actual damage. On his immobilized flagship, Commander Dax watched in growing horror as his fleet was systematically neutralized by a single human vessel. The ship's AI sent him a continuous stream of impossible readings. Their weapons were useless, their engines couldn't break free, and their vaunted shield technology might as well have been paper against the human gravity weapons. Captain Park, Dax transmitted, his voice now carrying a note of genuine fear. We yield. Please, we yield. Jai-Ho nodded to Lena. Reduce gravity web power by 50%. Allow them limited maneuvering capability, but maintain field integrity. The trapped alien ships found themselves able to move slightly, but still firmly held within the Prometheus's control. The remaining vessels had stopped their retreat, hanging motionless in space. Commander Dax, Jai-Ho's voice was calm but firm. You came here expecting to find a primitive species ready for subjugation. Instead, you found humanity. We developed these technologies not for conquest, but for defense. Remember that. Lena's console beeped with new information. Captain, they're powering down all weapons systems. Their shields are dropping too. The alien commander's response came quickly. We understand, Captain Park. The Council, they must know about this. Everything we thought we knew about technological development has been challenged. Jai-Ho finished for him. Yes, perhaps now the Council will be more interested in peaceful dialogue between equals. The Prometheus maintained its position, the gravity web holding the alien ships in its gentle but unbreakable grip. Around them, space itself seemed to ripple with the power of human innovation. Engineering reports all systems nominal, Lena announced. We could maintain this configuration for several hours if needed. Jai-Ho stood from his command chair, straightening his uniform. That won't be necessary. Commander Dax, we will release your vessels one at a time. You will maintain your current powered-down status and return to Council space. Carry this message. Humanity is ready for peaceful contact, but we will not be conquered or subjugated. The alien fleet's response was immediate agreement. One by one, the Prometheus released the ships from the gravity web. Each vessel immediately moved to a respectful distance, their weapons remaining powered down. As the last ship was released, Commander Dax transmitted one final message. Captain Park, in all my years of service, I have never seen anything like this. The Council will not believe our reports. They will, Jai-Ho replied with a slight smile. Because deep down, they've always feared something like this, a species that developed differently, that took an unexpected path to the stars. Tell them humanity comes in peace, but we come as equals. The alien fleet formed up in a loose retreat formation, their once proud vessels now moving with obvious caution. The battle, if it could even be called that, had ended without a single ship being destroyed. Humanity had demonstrated its power not through destruction, but through absolute control. The Prometheus's crew maintained their professional demeanor, but there was pride in their posture. They had faced the galaxy's greatest military power and proven that human ingenuity could overcome any challenge. In the vast darkness of space, a new chapter in galactic history had just been written, and humanity had authored it with a single ship. The Grand Council chamber, usually a place of ordered debate and careful diplomacy, had descended into near chaos. High Counselor Rix watched the recording for the third time, his multiple eyes fixed on the impossible sight of their mighty fleet being neutralized by a single human vessel. Play it again, he commanded, his scales shifting to a pale shade of disbelief. The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed the battle once more. 7 of their most advanced ships, rendered helpless by technologies that shouldn't exist. Ambassador Teal's crystalline form pulsed with agitated colors. This cannot be accurate. Commander Dax must have malfunctioned. No species develops quantum manipulation at this stage of their evolution. The recording is genuine, General Vex stated grimly. His armored exoskeleton clicked as he stepped forward. All 7 ships confirmed the same data. The humans have somehow mastered technologies that took us millennia to even theorize. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices and sounds. Some council members demanded immediate military action. Others called for diplomatic isolation. A few simply sat in stunned silence, watching the human ship demonstrate capabilities that defied their understanding of technological progress. High Counselor Rix raised all 4 hands for silence. We must address this rationally. Our fleet was not destroyed, merely disabled. The humans showed remarkable restraint. Ambassador Krill's feathers bristled. They humiliated our most advanced vessels. They treated our weapons like child's toys. A quieter voice came from the corner of the chamber. Professor Lan, the Council's chief scientist, had been analyzing the data with growing fascination. They think differently than we do, he said, his tentacles waving in excitement. Look at their quantum shield design. It's nothing like our approach. They didn't follow the standard development path at all. The hologram shifted to show detailed scans of the Prometheus's defensive systems, or rather, the little they had managed to detect. The human ship seemed to exist in a state of quantum uncertainty, defying conventional scanning methods. Their artificial intelligence, Professor Land continued, it doesn't use traditional computing architecture. It's as if they looked at our problems from completely different angles and found solutions we never imagined. High Counselor Rix absorbed this information with growing concern. What else are they capable of? If this is what they show us openly, what other technologies do they possess? The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. For millennia, the Council had guided the development of younger species, ensuring they followed the established path of technological progress. Humans had just proven that path was not the only way forward. We must reconsider our approach, General Vex admitted reluctantly. Traditional military action would be unwise. Their defensive capabilities alone make direct conflict impractical. Ambassador Teal's crystal housing vibrated with nervous energy. Perhaps we should send a genuine diplomatic mission, one focused on learning rather than intimidation. The recording played again, showing the moment when the human ship activated its gravity web. The Council members watched as their fleet's most powerful weapons dissipated harmlessly against quantum shields they couldn't even properly detect. Look at their ship design, Professor Land pointed out. Deceptively simple on the outside. They knew we would underestimate them. They planned for this encounter. High Counselor Rix's scales shifted to a deep blue of contemplation. All this time, we thought we were observing a primitive species taking its first steps into space. Instead, they were studying us, learning from our mistakes, and developing technologies that surpass our own. The other developing species must not learn of this, Ambassador Krill insisted. It would destabilize the entire galactic order. They will learn of it, Rix replied firmly. The humans made sure of that by leaving our fleet intact. This was not just a demonstration of power, it was a message to the entire galaxy. The Council chamber fell silent again as another realization struck them. Humanity had not just challenged their military might. They had shattered the very foundation of how the Council thought about technological progress. Professor Land's tentacles waved with increasing excitement. We must study their methods, learn from their innovations. This could revolutionize our own understanding of science. If they're willing to share, General Vex pointed out grimly. We did just try to subjugate them. High Counselor Rix rose from his seat, his decision made. We will send a new delegation to Earth, not to demand submission, but to open genuine dialogue. The humans have earned their place among the stars, not through age or tradition, but through ingenuity and innovation. The Council members looked at each other uncertainly. For the first time in their long history, they found themselves in the position of having to learn from a species they had intended to conquer. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had been the catalyst. As the session concluded, the recording played one final time. The human ship hung in space, its quantum shields shimmering with impossible energy, a testament to what could be achieved when a species chose to think differently. The Council had sought to teach humanity a lesson about power. Instead, humanity had taught them one about the dangers of arrogance and the limitless possibilities of innovation. The Grand Council chamber looked very different from a month ago. Gone were the signs of superiority and arrogance that had dominated the space for millennia. Instead, representatives from all 12 Council species gathered with a new sense of respect as they prepared to welcome their 13th member. Captain Jai-Ho Park and First Officer Lena stood at the center of the chamber, their Prometheus dress uniforms gleaming under the light of 3 artificial suns. Behind them, Earth's diplomatic team prepared the final documents that would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. High Counselor Rix approached the human delegation, his scales now a peaceful shade of blue. 1 month ago, we thought we knew everything about how civilizations should develop, he admitted. You showed us how wrong we were. The peace treaty lay on a crystalline pedestal, its terms carefully crafted to recognize humanity as full and equal members of the Galactic Council. More importantly, it included provisions for technological exchange and cooperative research. Humanity would share some of their innovations in exchange for access to the Council's vast scientific database. The quantum shield designs alone have revolutionized our understanding of defensive technology, Professor Lan exclaimed, his tentacles waving excitedly. And your artificial intelligence architecture, it's completely transformed our approach to computational theory. Lena smiled diplomatically. We look forward to learning from the Council as well, There's so much knowledge to share on both sides. Commander Dax, who had led the failed fleet action against the Prometheus, now stood as a strong advocate for human membership. They could have destroyed us, he reminded the council. Instead, they showed us a better way forward. The signing ceremony began with traditional council protocols, but with a distinctly human touch. Instead of the usual formal declarations, both sides agreed to simple, clear statements of cooperation and mutual respect. Jai-Ho stepped forward to sign for Earth's military forces, his pen hovering over the document. "We come seeking knowledge and friendship," he said clearly, "not dominance or control." The words carried special weight coming from the man who had demonstrated humanity's powers so effectively. The council members nodded in appreciation of both the sentiment and the subtle reminder it carried. As the final signatures were added, the chamber's atmospheric systems released a gentle shower of light, a traditional council celebration of momentous events. The human delegation watched in appreciation as the lights danced around them, creating patterns that seemed to represent the merging of different cultural and technological traditions. "You've changed everything," Ambassador Teal observed, their crystalline form pulsing with thoughtful colors. "Other developing species are already asking questions about different paths to advancement." "Good," Lena replied. "The galaxy can only benefit from diverse approaches to progress." The celebration continued as representatives from various worlds approached the human delegation. Some came seeking technical advice, others diplomatic connections, but all showed genuine respect. Not fear or forced politeness, but true appreciation for what humanity had achieved. Jai-Ho and Lena found themselves in conversation with Professor Lan, who couldn't contain his excitement about future joint research projects. "Your gravity manipulation technology. It operates on principles we never considered, and combining it with quantum field theory in that way." High Counselor Rix called for attention, raising all four hands. "Today marks more than just adding a new member to our council. Today marks the beginning of a new era in galactic civilization. Humanity has shown us that there are always new ways to solve old problems, new paths to discover, new possibilities to explore." The chamber erupted in approval, each species demonstrating agreement in their own unique way. The humans had earned their place not through conquest or intimidation, but by demonstrating the power of innovation and the importance of thinking differently. As the ceremony concluded, Jai-Ho and Lena stood at a viewing window, looking out at the massive space dock where the Prometheus rested alongside ships from a dozen different worlds. Their single vessel had changed the course of galactic history, not through its weapons, but through the ideas it represented. "What next, Captain?" Lena asked quietly. Jai-Ho smiled. "We explore, we learn, we grow, but most importantly, we continue to innovate. That's what humans do best." The artificial suns began their programmed setting sequence, casting long shadows through the council chamber. As darkness fell, the combined lights of 1,000 worlds glittered through the viewing window. A galaxy of possibilities now open to humanity not as subordinates, but as equals. The human delegation prepared to return to their ship, but they knew this was just the beginning. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or shields, but in their ability to think differently, to find new solutions, to imagine possibilities others had never considered. A new era had begun, and humanity would help shape it, one innovation at a time. **The End*.